Holy sh**. Hello and welcome to this very special episode of GTA 5 o'clock. Yes, we said we weren't going to do one this week, but it was all a ruse because we didn't want you to get overexcited that something might be happening. But something has happened. GTA 5 is coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC later on this year. In this show, we're going to briefly touch on what Rockstar have said about that version of the game, go through the trailer and give you a bit of analysis on it and compare some of those shots with the stuff from the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions. I'm your host, James Jarvis, and joining me today is Iain Wilson, Mr. Trophy. Hello, Iain.
Hello there.
Hello. I'm sure you were excited as me and Dan were watching this when it finally came onto the Sony stage. I thought presented in a very nice way. They didn't say, here is our friends Rockstar. They didn't say it's GTA 5. They just said, we've been working with someone very special. Take a look at this trailer.
Exactly, yeah. It didn't kind of massively big it up or anything like that. Just gave us what we were waiting for, basically.
It was very nice indeed. And actually, it took a few seconds to actually realise what it was. I think it was like 2 scenes in, and I said to Dan, I said, this is GTA 5, and he went, no, it isn't. And then the train comes around the corner. I was like, it absolutely is.
Definitely is. Yeah.
And then Dan had a little meltdown. He's not here today, not due because of the meltdown, but for some other reasons. So let's get on to what Rockstar have actually said about GTA 5. So far they've said it's coming this fall. Amazon UK have said that it's in the autumn. Typically, the UK autumn ends in sort of
who knows? Well,
October,
September,
October.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, obviously, mid-September's coming up for the 1-year anniversary of the original release. So whether they kind of try and tie it into that, maybe. But I would have thought sort of September, October would be a reasonable assumption for that.
Sounds about right. Okay, so they said that Grand Theft Auto 5 will take full advantage of the power of PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC across the board with graphical and technical improvements to deliver a stunning new level of detail, increased draw distances, finer texture details, denser traffic and enhanced resolutions. Some of those world enhancements are going to include new wildlife, which we'll get onto when we look at the trailer in a second, upgraded weather effects, damage effects, and an array of new details to discover. Now that wording is interesting. An array of new details could mean things as sort of mundane as reflections in glass and extra bits of props and things around. Or it could mean new secrets.
Ooh.
Or secrets that aren't in the current game, like the jetpack, that might be in the new generation.
Finally revealed, yes.
You'd think that Rockstar would want this version of GTA 5 to be the most complete.
Oh, yeah.
And if they wanted to put the jetpack in from the beginning and for some reason haven't, this would be the opportunity to complete that game.
Yeah.
So we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
Speaking of it being a complete package, you would expect, it hasn't been announced yet, you'd expect that this version would also include any of the single-player DLC that is coming to the current versions.
Yes, yeah, you'd think so.
We're still expecting that. I'd expect it to be announced sooner now rather than later. Now we have this announcement for the next gen or the new gen versions.
Yeah.
What they'd want to do is put that out pretty soon, so you don't go, well, I'll just wait for the PS4 version and I'll get them all as a complete package.
Exactly.
They might not. They might release them separately, but you'd think that because of the new levels of detail and stuff, you'd want to have it as a complete package.
Yeah.
So, moving on, the new generation upgrades also extend to GTA Online. Now, that's interesting because all of those new things then move over into GTA Online, which means on the new generation of consoles, GTA Online is going to look very different.
Yeah.
So, do we think then that that means the fact that you'll be able to transfer your character over from Xbox 360 or PS3 onto PS4, Xbox One or PC, do you think that means there'll be different servers for new and old gen and there won't be a cross-play, so I won't be able to play it if I've got it on PS4?
Yeah, I would expect that would be the case, that if that there won't be any sort of cross-play between PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One. I mean, there's very few instances where you get that anyway. And yeah, I think sort of the technical limitations, especially if they're bringing all these new upgrades to the next gen version, I don't think that's going to be a feasible thing to have.
Yeah, we'd suggest then if you want the best experience once these new gen versions come out, Grand Theft Auto Online is probably going to look a lot better.
Yeah, that's it. And say all the sort of extra processing power. I mean, I found with doing some of the stuff online, once you've got a server with lots of people in there, obviously the game has to make certain concessions to keep that running. So you'll find like there either won't be much traffic on the roads, or it'll be the same 3 cars over and over again, rather than being the full array of stuff that you'd get in a single player campaign. So hopefully that'll all be sort of beefed up with the new version as well.
So in that new version, all new content and gameplay created since the launch of GTA Online, so that will be the jobs, the user created jobs and all of that stuff, will be available in the new gen versions, as well as an arsenal of new weapons, scores of new vehicles, new properties, and player customizations. So
now when they say new vehicles, whether that means vehicles from the core game that already exists that are now going to be in the online that weren't in the online before, where there's actually going to be completely new vehicles for it, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I guess all that stuff can be added in with DLC and all of that stuff, like another, like the next gen pack or whatever they want to call it. It's just loads of new stuff in there. So yeah, as we said, you can transfer your current player on your current system onto one of the new ones, which is lovely. And the Grand Theft Auto 5 for PC will also feature a video editor designed for advanced movie making, which we have seen before in Grand Theft Auto 4 on the PC version of that. So that's great. Questions around how it will work, whether you have to upload your captured footage to the social club and edit it there. I imagine it will be on desktop editor device.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Yeah, I mean, obviously from that announcement, that's exclusive to the PC version, but obviously on the next gen consoles or current gen consoles now, there's facilities for capturing video on there as well, and like on the PS4 you've got the share factory as well, so you would still be able to capture footage and cut together your own clips and things from there as well. Yeah,
really exciting. So there you are, we were right. We've been saying it for a long time that it's coming to new gen systems. Almost since the beginning of the show, we said it would happen. It has now happened. So anything we say in the future should be taken, obviously, as fact, as we've established there. So, okay, let's take a look at the trailer now. That's what Rockstar have said about it. We're going to go through it now and just pick out some little details that you might not have seen so far. So we start, obviously, with this beautiful shot of the beach. You can see the waves there. You've got the dynamic physics, and you've got tessellated water. It's just like...
You've got the sun reflecting off all the sort of little ripples and things on there as well. It just really does look incredible, doesn't it?
Yeah, the way the light diffuses through the waves and things is brilliant. So that's an amazing shot to start with. If we move on through, we've got foliage here. You can see the different blades of grass moving in the wind. There's a lot of wind actually in this trailer that we haven't seen before. It's something that the developers of Watch Dogs spoke about a lot, that the new gen systems would give them, like the power of dynamic wind and things being able to go in different directions and swaying and stuff. So we can see that in this. Also in Assassin's Creed 4 we saw that kind of thing. Now we've got deer here. Is the little animal there? Is he a new animal? Could it be a mountain lion?
It's hard to tell from that angle. I mean, there were sort of cougar type, sort of mountain cats in the current gen version. So maybe it's one of those. Maybe it's something new.
We'll have to wait and see, I guess. We've also got different bark textures there on the different trees. So that's another new thing. You won't just get a batch of trees.
Tree, yeah.
Finally, they will look different. Moving on to the ocean, and we've got a lot of sharks now. Now in the obviously the old screenshots, we just had that one of the one shark. Yeah. And we were like, whoa, there's sharks. Yeah. Now we've got like school. Is it a school of sharks you get?
I'm not sure. Of fish. Yeah. I mean, is that at the sort of the top of the screen there? Is that one of our regular sharks that we're used to.
Yeah, I think the smaller looking one.
Lurking at the top there.
But now we've got hammerhead sharks.
Yeah.
Now these are new for GTA 5. This is some of the new wildlife. There is more in this trailer to look at a bit later on, but this is one of the new wildlife types. So that's very exciting, different types of sharks. If we move on now, we've got a full panoramic view of a mountain range here. Now, that one where the sun is glistening off could be Chiliad.
Could be. I mean, there's a few quite tall peaks in that area. So,
and there's a few different types of mountain ranges as well. So I'd say there's a possibility it is.
It would make sense because it's an iconic landmark in the game.
Yeah, and they don't need to hide anything anymore.
No.
Like, everyone knows what's happening. The next shot is one of the train. This is like the one that sold it to me in the press conference when I was like, that's the GTA 5 train. So this has got Go Loco on the back of it now, which it didn't have in the original version. We've got a comparison of this shot to show you a bit later on, actually. Something to note here is in the next shot, where it's the wider one, you can see the smoke coming off the chimneys there, which I guess will diffuse into the sky in a very lovely way, which is very nice. Moving down into, I think, one of the salt mines, and we can see here just mud on the tyres of the truck and on the construction worker's shirt there.
Yeah.
Which is good, a bit more dynamic stuff. And then when it pans out, you can see the incredible draw distances there. You can see from that mine to the wind farm, and then in the very back of the shot, you've got Los Santos.
Yeah, a couple of the actual buildings there.
And then here he is, first character we see.
Oh, yes.
It's old Trevor. He's woken up in some flowers, which turns out to be, I think this is like in the, well, it's around the Chile.
Yeah, it's in that sort of range.
Moving on to the nighttime scene, and just look at the amount of traffic that's here. That's like amazing.
It's incredible, isn't it?
That's a proper like night scene. It seems what Rockstar have done here is create what they sort of originally wanted it to be like.
Yeah,
there's loads more traffic now.
Yeah. I mean, even the details, like these trucks that are on the left, sort of driving towards the camera, you can see little rows of LEDs on the sort of on the front of the cabs and things like that. There's so much detail packed into it now.
In the next shot, we can see all of the rain effects as well, like individual droplets onto the floor, and even some splash of the tyres.
Yeah, spraying up from the tyres there, yeah.
Which is great. On the industrial scene here, now this is quite an important scene because it's not cloudy, but it's slightly smoggy, and this could be the first glimpse of the smog weather effects that we've seen when we went through the GTA bug log files in a previous show.
Yeah.
There is a smog weather effect that currently you don't see in the current gen versions. This could be the first sign of that smog effect, and that'd be really nice as a morning thing.
Yeah, sort of smoggy haze going over it there, and as you say, one of the things that they did reference was this upgraded weather, and whether it all ties into that.
The next shot, you can see some really nice fire effects, and then very subtly you've got some actual shadows as well, like real-time shadows. You can see the shadows move in time with the light as well.
Yeah.
So that's brilliant. Real-time shadows are in there. Now, Dan sent me some notes when he was, as he is away, to go through, and he says, is the Mile High Club slightly more complete than it is in the single-player game?
Good question.
It is. It's a question.
It's a question. Maybe we should try and dig out a comparison shot on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it is.
It's certainly still under construction. I don't think anyone's going to doubt that.
No, that's true. So yeah, let us know in the comments if you think it is slightly more constructed. But obviously, we know now that one of the missions takes place in that in incomplete Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So you can't have it complete because you wouldn't be able to do that mission.
Exactly.
But it might be, one of the floors might be complete, I guess.
Yeah.
You can also see in this shot that the trees are moving in the wind there very subtly, and the power lines also move as well.
Yeah, a little sort of ripple going through those.
Which is really nice. On to our next character, and we get Franklin here, and we can see inside the car. A bit more on that later, a bit more of the interior detail. And if you look in the very background, there's a woman, and she's actually got a new type of dog, which I'm very excited about. I guess it's sort of like a pit bully. It's that sort of size. He's a bit like Chop, but he definitely does look like a different kind of dog. But that is not the most exciting thing in this scene. The most exciting thing in this scene is there is a cat. If you look behind Franklin on the wall, you can see a cat that gets up and jumps down the wall.
There it is.
It's really small.
Wow.
But it is definitely a cat, and you can see in his movement.
That is a good spot.
So new animals, new dogs, new cats, possibly mountain lions.
New wildlife. That's it.
Definitely. In the next scene, we can see a bit more of a Chop. He's a bit more rounded. He looks like he's a bit fatter in the new gen version. But obviously, this nighttime scene's brilliant. There's a lot more people on the streets, as you'd expect. And then when we go to the Del Perro Pier, you've got like a neon-tastic view of like the little Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel and fairground. I mean, that area has always been like a visual highlight of the game anyway, especially at night time. But yeah, it's something else on this version.
Onto the exterior of Michael's house here, you can see someone playing tennis down there. Not sure who that is.
Yeah, and you've got that big shadow moving over there, which looks like it's possibly like a big jet plane flying over.
Yeah, I think it is a plane. You can probably
just about make out the sort of shape of it as it goes past. But
and here he is, Michael.
There he is.
Interestingly, that we saw him first in the old gen versions of all the trailers.
Yeah,
left him till last for the new gen trailer. I also thought it was interesting that they didn't decide to go down the remaking of the original trailer in the new engine, just to show people the difference. They've gone for a whole new tact on the trailer which is nice.
There's sort of obviously quite a zoomed in view here, but there's like sort of just the texture on the side of that map that's rolled up and the little nubs on the water bottle and things like that. There's a lot more detail crammed into there.
Now we can see inside Michael's house here. Now we know we can go into Michael's house anyway, but with all of this like new power, you'd think that Rockstar might be able to put some new or different interiors in the game as well.
Indeed, yeah.
Like a few more shops to go into, different warehouses, things like that. That's definitely a possibility. Onto some lighting now, and we've got the lighting diffusion on some headlights here. You can see it like starting off really bright, getting a bit dimmer as it goes away. And then in the interior of the car, we can actually see one of the dials move here. Whether that means that all of the cars are going to have different interiors for different vehicles, do you think?
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, you think with, unless this is just something that's been done for the trailer, if they're modelling these vehicle interiors, then it's possible we may well get a new driving view, do you think? Like an interior,
hands on the wheel.
Hands-on driving view. It's
a possibility.
There's a couple of times we've seen the vehicle interiors in this trailer, so...
Another thing to note here as well is that screen on the right says touch screen to turn on. Now, obviously this is probably one of the new sort of higher tech cars, which has got like a touch screen to turn on the GPS and the radio and things like that. But as it's not too much of a leap to suggest that if this is some kind of, like, you do get this kind of view in the new gen versions, that if they added in PlayStation 4 trackpad support and you just touched your trackpad to turn on that GPS system, that could be a whole new feature that we're yet to see, but we could have just revealed it here. Like we revealed the announcement of the GTA 5 on the new gen systems.
Indeed, watch this space.
So yeah, watch this space. That could be a feature. That'd be a really cool feature as well, and a good way of integrating the new generation of pads and stuff into that. We can see some really nice reflections in the next shot on the police car as the lights go past, and then finally, the last shot, we've got the red nighttime sky with all the traffic, and it just looks stunning. So that's our analysis of the trailer. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope there's some bits in there that you saw, that you didn't see, that we've pointed out for you. Just briefly then, let's go through a couple of old versus new gen comparison screenshots. We'll start off with the waves, and here it is on PS3 or Xbox 360, which still looks nice. But then as soon as you put it next to like the new gen version, which is here, it just looks. I mean, it still looks good, but it just looks different. Yeah, like the lighting is much better. There's a lot more sort of wave effects going on. It's really nice. So yeah, these should just give you a good idea of how different the game is going to look, really. Let's move on to the road sign. It's just got the American road sign on here. We've got, it's not quite the same angle, but it's close enough. I think this really points out the level of detail and the draw distances that we're going to get to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can sort of see more stuff going on in the background of that one, and just the sort of the stuff to the left of the sign. You can see all the textures on the track and things like that, which aren't in the present gen versions.
And more cars as well.
And more cars.
You see more vehicles on the road, which is always good. Onto the factory now, and you can see the current gen version again is good. The new gen version screenshot we've got is from a slightly different angle, so it makes the wind farm look closer.
Yeah.
Which obviously it isn't. But you can see like the depth of field effects that it's got going on, and all the smog.
Exactly, yeah, and just sort of some of the there's obviously more shadow stuff going on the new one, and all the metals kind of look a bit more reflective and just more metallic as well.
Onto that shot that we saw of the salt mine, and here you can see just it's the level of textures that you get on the different rock surfaces and things, and of course the shadows, and as we said, you can see Los Santos in the background of the new gen version.
Yeah, the current one's got the sort of distance fog going on at
Special
that level.
Rockstar distance
fog.
Yeah. All right, let's look at a current gen version shot of the train. Obviously, it's going to not have the train in it in this one because it's captured from the game. And then if we flick to the new gen version, you can see even the little grains of gravel next to the train track. You can see, which is amazing. And I think there's slightly more trees in the new gen one as well.
Yeah.
So that's a couple of comparisons for you there. Next week we'll probably be going through that trailer in even more detail, pulling out some more comparisons, showing you side by sides. Dan's going to be back, hopefully, so he'll probably want to discuss all of the announcements and things and go through the trailer again. So do join us for that. Troy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So yeah, hope you enjoyed that analysis and a bit of a comparison. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And join us on Twitter, which is GTA O'Clock. Go and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GTA O'Clock. And we will see you next Wednesday for another GTA 5 o'clock.